Hello everybody. Good morning dear student. Now we are going to discuss about structure of answer. In last period you have already studied about the parts of flower. In that parts of flower there are four valves. At the outer two floral valves are called calyx and corolla and these are accessory floral valves. Similarly, the inner floral valves of the flower are called androecium and gynoecium. The androecium and gynoecium are essential floral valves. The individual member of androecium that is called stamen. The androecium is male essential floral valve and individual member of androecium is called stamen. Each stamen of that androecium is distinct into various parts such as filament, anther and connective. So each stamen distinct into filament, anther and connective. So filament is a supporting portion of the stamen, while anther is the fertile portion of the stamen, and the connective is the connecting portion of the uh, stamen. The connective connects the two anther lobes to one another. So there are two anther lobes and these are connected to one another with the help of connective. The anther in immature condition is represented as a group of parenchymatous cells surrounded by a single layer of epidermis. So later on, during the developmental stages, some of the hypodermal cells of the hypodermal cells get transformed into archisporial cells. So anther is a fertile portion of the stamen and it may be one-lobed monothecous or bilobed diathecous. When the anther is one-lobed, it is called monothecous anther, and when it is bilobed, it is called diathecous anther. The monothecous anther contain two pollen sac, while the diathecous anther encloses four pollen sac or microsporangia. So these four pollen sacs, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So these four pollen sacs are lies in that anther, diathecous anther. Such a diathecous anther with four pollen sacs or microsporangia is called tetrasporangiate. Why it is called tetrasporangiate? There are four pollen sac or microsporangia, and due to the presence of these four pollen sac or microsporangia, it is called tetra. And why it is called sporangiate? That means there are four microsporangia or pollen sac. So it is a diathecous anther with four pollen sac or four microsporangia is called tetrasporangiate. During the developmental stages of anther, when the anther develops, during the development of anther, what happens? Some of the hypodermal cells. So what do you mean by hypodermal cells? Just below the epidermis, there is a one more layer that is called hypodermis. So some of the hypodermal cells of that anther get transformed into or get differentiated into. Some of the hypodermal cells of anther get transformed or differentiated into archisporial cells. Now each archisporial cell divides into two cells, the outer primary parietal cell and inner sporogenous cell. The outer primary parietal cell undergoes division and these outer primary parietal cells undergoes division and gives rise to anther wall layers. The outer primary parietal cells undergoes divisions and afterward it gives rise to anther wall layers. And the inner sporogenous cells are then later on develops into sporogenous tissue. So what do you mean by sporogenous tissue? It is a diploid tissue and later on this sporogenous tissues develops into spores or pollen grain or microsporangia. These sporogenous cells are diploid. Sporogenous tissue is diploid. It undergoes meiosis and each sporogenous cell then gives rise to 4 pollen grains or microspores. These pollen grains are called microspores, which are like in that pollen sac. So this is about the archisporal cell and their two derivatives. So these two cells, outer primary parietal cell and sporogenous cells, derived from the archisporal cell. Now there are 4 plural words whatever derived from the outer primary parietal cells. That is, outer primary parietal cell undergoes division and it later on gives rise to anther wall. Then each anther anther has its own wall, that is known as anther wall. Now this anther wall, whatever derived from the outer primary parietal cell, is distinct into 4 layers: epidermis, endothelium, middle layer and tapetum. So what is epidermis? It is a single layer just which encloses the anther. The epidermis is outermost single layer and the cells of that epidermis are flattened. So what do you mean by flattened? These are dorsally and ventrally these are flat, and so the cells of that epidermis are flattened. So due to the presence of such flat cells, the epidermis is made up of flattened cells, and the cells of epidermis, these are arranged in single layer. And what is the role of epidermis? The epidermis is protective covering of the anther. It forms protective covering. Next to the epidermis, that is whatever outermost protective covering, that is known as epidermis. So next to that epidermis, there is another layer, that is called endothelium. Cells of endothelium are elongated, and cells of endothelium, that is are arranged in that is one the cells of endothelium are arranged in single layer, and the cells of endothelium are radially elongated and show fibrous thickening. So the cells of endothelium, they are arranged in single layer and these are radially elongated. These radially elongated cells of endothelium shows fibrous thickening, and due to this fibrous thickening, the cells of that endothelium are hygroscopic. So what is mean by hygroscopic nature of endothelial cells? The endothelial cells are radially elongated and hygroscopic. That means they absorb water or moisture from the environment. When the environment is moist at that such condition, the cells of endothelium absorb moisture or water, due to which they swell, and cells of endothelium plays important role during the dehiscence or breakage of anther. So when the anther wall rupture, the pollen grains are released. So these hygroscopic endothelial cells plays important role during the dehiscence of anther or breakage of anther. When anther is ruptured, the pollen grains are released and these are carried along with the different agencies. So transfer of pollen grain, when these pollen grains are released from the anther and these are carried through different agencies. So transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of another flower or same flower, this process is called pollination. Transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma, same flower or another flower is called pollination. So in this way, the endothelial cells helps. These are elongated radially and shows fibrous thickening and are hygroscopic. Such hygroscopic cells helps in the breakage or dehiscence of anther or rupturing of anther. So this is about the endothelial layer, endothelium layer, endothelial layer or endothelium layer. Then next to the endothelium, another one more layer, third layer is present below the endothelium layer, and that is known as middle layer. The cells of middle layer, that is they are thin walled and arranged in 1 to 2 layer. So these endothelial endothelium layer is second layer. Just below the endothelial layer, there is another third layer, and this layer is called middle layer. The cells of middle layer are elongated and these are arranged in 1 to 2 layer. So they form 1 to 2 layer. Middle layer forms 1 to 2 layer and the cells of middle layer are thin walled. Later on, the cells of middle layer disintegrated. That means they are ultimately destroyed. They are not playing any role and they are disintegrated. Next to that middle layer, innermost layer of that pollen sac, the innermost layer of pollen is called tapetum. So this is innermost layer. Now this tapetum is the innermost fourth layer of anther wall. The tapetum is innermost nutritive layer. It provides nutrition to the sporogenous tissue. It provides nourishment, nutrition or food to the developing sporogenous tissue. What do you mean by sporogenous tissue? The sporogenous tissue is a diploid tissue within the anther lobe, and in that pollen sac, whatever this diploid sporogenous tissue is present, this diploid sporogenous tissue later on undergoes meiosis. Now each sporogenous tissue may be microspore mother cell or it may divide mitotically and their number is increased. So this sporogenous tissue develops into microspore mother cell or transform. Each sporogenous tissue later on transform into microspore mother cell. The microspore mother cell is diploid and this microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis, one kind of cell division, where the chromosome number is reduced to half. So parental cell, that is microspore mother cell, is diploid and after meiosis the tetrad is formed and which later on gives rise to 4 pollen grains. The tetrad, that is a ball-like structure which is developed from the microspore mother cell after meiosis. Now this tetrad later on gives rise to 4 pollen grains and each pollen grain is haploid. These pollen grains are also called microspores, or these pollen grains are lies in the pollen sac, and when these pollen grains are formed within the pollen sac, and when the anther is mature, it gets ruptured, and this process of rupturing of anther is called dehiscence, or it is also called dehiscence or breakage of anther. So during the dehiscence of anther, what happens? The pollen grains or microspore lies in the pollen sac are released outside. So they are released outside, and these pollen grains are nothing but microspores. Whatever derived from microspore mother cell, it is diploid. The microspore mother cell is diploid. The pollen grain derived from the microspore mother cell are haploid, that is, they are represented as N. So each pollen grain is represented as N, that is half number of chromosomes, while the microspore mother cell is represented as 2N. So in this way, the large number of pollen grains are produced in the microsporangium or pollen sac. So the pollen sac that is actually contain many pollen grains derived from the microspore mother cell, and microspore mother cell is developed from the sporogenous tissue. Microspore mother cell develops from sporogenous cell, or sporogenous tissue is then later on grown into microspore mother cell, and microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis and produces pollen grains. So in this way, the tapetum, the innermost layer of the anther wall, that tapetum provide nourishment or nutrition to the developing spores. The tapetum provide nourishment or nutrition or food to the developing sporogenous tissue. The sporogenous tissue is diploid tissue, and later on this sporogenous tissue gives rise to microspore mother cell, and microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis and produces microspores or pollen grains. The pollen grains are haploid, and these are lies in the pollen sac. Only